think they've passed on Sarah, but like, but yes, no, they had a good race. Orion did a really good job taking care of his team. When we were done, I carried the old guy up. He was just like, I'm done. And he's happy. The dogs are all happy now. Like the old guys are just like, yeah, we're done.
Nice.
We
Race for
just
two and a
want
half.
snuggles now. The young
That's
guys
old.
had a great race. I ran two dogs that had never skied before, so they never had a skier hooked up to them versus a sled. They did excellent, and then I passed two teams, and then one of them looks back and goes, "Wait, you're not on a sled." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm on skis." And she's looking at me like, "What are you doing?" And her line starts going slack because she's confused. I'm like, "It's okay, Orchid. You got this. Tighten up." And then I fell, so the other teams passed me, and then Orchid was great. Orchid and Yuso were great and pulled me strong. But yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
It was a really good race for me, except for the two falls, but they were fine.
So if you were just joining us, when we are recording this, it is currently March 25th, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
correct.
We are, with the exception of Phoenix, we are all living in Minnesota, and therefore still have snow on the ground because yuck.
Because it's
Um,
March. It's supposed to have snow.
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
how that works.
yeah.
And
Snow is part of spring.
Last weekend, Jess and her whole family, her whole side of the family, including the two littles, the three littles, technically speaking. Um, yeah, well, one of the littles that is definitely taller than Jess.
He's like
All participated
5'11".
all participated in a dog sled race.
Mm-hmm.
Up in the near the north on the North Shore.
Up
When I
the
say near
halfway up
the
the
North Shore, I
Gunflint.
mean like literally just adjacent to it. So
Yeah, halfway up the Gunflint Trail.
yeah, so
Yes.
they were Jess was just filling us in on how everybody did, and yeah, so welcome back everybody. For you, it will have only been 2 weeks since the last time we played, but for us, it has been several months. We stopped we stopped playing for the holiday break in probably late November, early December. I don't remember exactly when our last game was. And then we had intended to come back in January 2023, but then the whole thing with the OGL and D&D and all that stuff came down, and so we were really, really debating how we wanted to proceed in that particular instance. We discussed a lot of different stuff. We tried another game, which I enjoyed that game. It was Fantasy Age. I very much enjoyed it. I just don't think that switching, and this was an argument that more people than me just made. I don't think switching mid-campaign systems is a very good thing to do. I think we'd lose a lot of momentum. I think we'd lose a lot in translation. Um, so we're going to continue this particular campaign using the D&D 5e rules. I have at this point no intention of going forward with 1 D&D when it comes out. More than likely, I'm looking very closely at Kobold Press's stuff, as it is very similar to 5e, but there's a few key differences. Um, so I'm just kind of keeping an eye on that as they're developing it, and we'll go from there. But so we are going to continue forward with 5e at this point. Um, Please understand that we do know the problematicness that Wizards of the Coast represents at this point, and trust me when I tell you that many of us are just as pissed off as you are. I think the difference is that particularly with Brian and myself, who've been through multiple editions. We've seen this before. This is the same song and dance that they did back in 2000. It's the same song and dance that they did back in 2011. It's the same old song and dance, just a slightly different key. So anyway, so we're gonna recap real quick. Um, these individuals are trying to save the time dragon, specifically the time dragon as it is slowly forgetting the memories that it has of existence. The reason being is that when the time dragon forgets, everything ceases to be. Um, So they were going to be going to a couple of isolated events throughout the history of Gravendale to seek out anomalies, anachronisms, and deal with them accordingly. The trick is that they don't necessarily know what it is they're looking for until either A, they suss it out, or B, it reveals itself in some way. At this point, they are currently in the 6th epic? 7th epic?
Hold on
You
that to see which
Don't
one I came
remember.
from. Which one did
It's
I
in
come
my
from?
Don't recall.
notes.
I think it's the
Six.
epic.
Six.
I
Sixth
think
Because-
it's the
okay.
sixth.
It's 6 because I
Yes.
come from 6.
Right, okay, yep, it's the 6th epic.
Because there's this really nice note at the top that tells where we came from.
Well, there you
You're
go.
welcome.
They're
Thank
currently-
you. I'm doing heart hands.
They are currently in the 6th epic, which is a time frame in which the continent of Solanel has been occupied by elven forces from the northern continent of Theravel, I think it is. I know my own geography, I promise. They're from the northern continent. They've occupied Solanel for the last 7,000 years or so. And things are not great for anybody who lives in this area who are not themselves elven. There's a lot of resistance being put up against them at this point, and the party encountered an elven patrol upon their arrival here. The resident elves attempted to the PC elves attempted to reason with them. They were not interested. No, Melisandus 100% attempted to reason with them.
And then
Um,
threw the rest of us under the bus. It was fine.
No, it's not. Melisandus was trying to negotiate, be like, no, I'm not their captive. It's cool. They're with me. And they went, he's brainwashed. He's clearly a traitor. Get them all.
Yeah. It was great.
Melisandus threw no one under the bus.
Because racism.
Not how
Anyway.
Lyle remembers it.
There we go.
At any rate, they
Hey,
fled.
just for sorry, quick interruption, just for our viewers. The 6th epic, is this the epic in which the main Saul's Rest campaign takes place?
No. The original Saul's Rest campaign actually takes place after the 6th epic. It is technically the
Okay.
7th epic, in which our original Saul's Rest, and I can't even say
Thank
that,
you.
our originally streamed Saul's Rest campaign took place.
Yes.
Because as Jess is likely wanting to point out here, we've been playing in this world, in this campaign for 20 years, give or take.
This one might be more like 15, but yeah.
Um,
But yeah, no, the original campaign happened in the 6th epic with this crew, with my character and the other awesome people that I played with.
So yes, you guys are near the end of the 6th epic, which is still about 1,000 years prior to the 7th epic happening. So, all of that said, they fled, having been chased by a wormwood dragon, which is a large plant-based, draconic-shaped creature. It's like a dragon topiary that somebody gave life and attitude. They fled. They were eventually encountered some of the rebel resistance, who ran some interference. One in particular, a gentleman who later introduced himself as Crazy DeRay, ran some interference with the wormwood. You were brought to the resistance encampment, where you actually had the opportunity to meet Crazy DeRay, and Anissa encountered some familiar faces from her past, in the form of Quinn Phaedra, who was the paramour of one of her 2 adoptive sisters. She herself, on the night of her wedding, disappeared from that particular existence, and could not at this time remember the name of her husband. She then eventually did was informed that her husband's name was Tomas, and that he was still alive and well, although it was some years after the events that caused her disappearance. But he was not present. He was part of another resistance cell, not from this region. Specifically up, I believe I said up north in the Winterhold area. So, after that, Melisandus encountered a large the encampment was of the rebel. Words are hard, y'all. The rebel encampment was located on top of some old ruins, and Melisandus and Chapel were sort of investigating these ancient sort of hieroglyphs that sort of depicted the various epics of history, discovering bits and pieces of the past events that struck them as a little bit odd, including a couple of mysterious carvings that somewhat resembled this group of individuals. At any rate, at this point, DeRay got wind that there was a incursion happening at a tomb not very far away, a tomb in which lay an artifact that he requires for the resistance effort. The need to grab it became somewhat pressing as it was discovered that the elves had discovered this location and his desire to have it and sent their own people in to get it. The PCs went to the tomb. They slogged through the dungeon. They fought against both Draugr and elves to ultimately be granted the item in question at the end of the dungeon after they defeated the elven captain, who was arguably a giant asshole.
Huge dick.
Huge dick.
Big guy.
Well, tiny dick, big asshole.
Which is why he was an asshole. Anyway, so sorry, we don't body shame here, but that's still funny. So that's where we left off. You guys had just received the MacGuffin, which is in the form of a magical longsword. Now, real quick before we press ahead, I do not recall exactly what happened, but who has the longsword at this point? Does it matter who had it before? Doesn't matter who had it before, who has it now.
Hale took it.
Yeah, I think Hale was the one that.
So here's a mechanic
That
that
sounds
we're
right.
going to introduce going forward, because schedules are fucked up and our lives are weird. If we ever have to play down a character, which I will happily run down a character, instead of Jaegering said character, because we are playing in a world where time is wibbly wobbly and not contiguous, basically if there's a game where one person has to miss, the time dragon had a brain fart and briefly forgot they existed.
Oh!
So, and when they come back, the time dragon remembered again.
Can I make an alternative suggestion just because I find it funnier?
I'm willing to listen to your suggestion. I'm going to take it.
So, kind of off-screen in the background, between every session, or, when we have somebody gone. It's basically the, explaining it away. We all decided to draw lots, and whoever lost had to silently carry all of the party gear that we didn't want to.
Whoever
they're
loses
still
has to
there.
be the Nodwick.
But they're basically an upgraded version of an unseen servant. You can see them, you can touch them, but they're just carrying our stuff silently.
I'm going to go with no, because I think thematically my idea works better. But that is very funny.
Does that mean that the MacGuffin disappeared with Hale?
No, I'm going to say that the MacGuffin ends up in the hands of one of the other PCs, because it is an important piece of plot. So, you guys can decide who...
Probably Anissa then would be probably the best choice then, I would think.
Well, and I think
Next
part of the reason
paladin.
why I think part of the reason why it did end up with Hale and not Anissa potentially is that Anissa missed that last game, and wasn't there to potentially argue for it. So
That's why this looks like totally unfamiliar and I can't remember it.
yes, that is you missed.
Yeah.
You
I'm
started the
sitting
dungeon
here
crawl.
going,
You started the dungeon crawl with us, and then we broke
Right.
midway through the dungeon crawl, and then you couldn't make a game, so we finished up because there wasn't going to be a lot of RP. It was just the end of the dungeon crawl.
Right.
Yes.
So here you are. Well,
yes, it was
our
4 rounds.
yep,
3 rounds.
our friend and yours, David, is winging his way to the East Coast currently. We're all very, very envious of him. His fiance and my parents bought him a trip to New York for a week for his
Aw.
birthday.
Very cool.
Very, very cool. I'm not ashamed to say that I'm a little jealous. But yeah, so I hope they have a great time. I'm sure they will. My mom absolutely adores New York City. David lived there
Oh my
for
God,
5
yes.
years. Yeah, no,
They're
it's
good.
they're gonna have a great time. I know they have plans to see like 3 or 4 Broadway shows. Like it's
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
right.
Now I want to like call your mom and go, "What are you gonna go see?"
I know, right? Oh man, I'm so stoked. And mom needs this break. She's
Yes,
work has been
she needs. Yes,
Um,
I'm
anyway,
I'm
I
happy
don't want
for
to
your
get into
brother,
that
but
on
I'm
stream.
also happy for your mom.
Anyway, so he'll be back the next time you see us all theoretically. But yeah, so going forward, if we have to play down if we have to play down 2, I'm not going to run. I mean, that's just I can't do
It's
down
too much.
2 with as few people as we have. So starting us off, I need everybody to make a D100 roll, please.
Oh, right.
All right, let's see if the D&D Beyond hates me or not. Roll.
Well, if we're rolling high, then D&D
We're good.
Beyond definitely hates me.
Do we
Seems to love the rest of us.
like? I got an 86.
Or I should say, if high is bad, then D&D Beyond
Okay.
hates me.
Oh,
I think
Yeah,
I
if I-
think high is good if I
I think it.
recall.
Yeah, I feel like the DC is getting harder and scarier each time, if I remember correctly.
yeah.
The
If high
DC
numbers
is
is
getting-
bad, then we're definitely fucked.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't see Melisandus's though.
That should be in there. I got a 78.
Oh yeah, I don't see yours either.
It's not in roll 20.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
it's not it. Hold. That's okay. See, this
It-
is one of those things that I haven't yet fully set up because of the new computer. I don't have the
Because it's a new computer.
You
Beyond
don't
20
They're not
extension.
They're not talking
Alright,
to each
so-
other.
Here's what I'm
Yeah.
going to request. When I have you make a roll, and I do make this request almost every game. I'm not shaming you. This is how it goes. I don't know. I'm not always looking directly at the screen. So when I have you roll, just tell me what the number is.
Oh,
It's
I
good
was
to have it
figuring
written.
you just didn't call for it yet.
Right. That's
It's
kind of what I thought.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
my
hadn't
bad.
said ready. Like
All
we were
right,
gonna
so
just
I'm ready.
fire
Y'all-
numbers at you.
Y'all rolled over 50, so you're good for right now.
Yeah.
And since David's not here, I'm not going to make him roll. Okay, so that DC increases. That's fine.
Oh, good.
Is it though?
No, that was sarcasm.
Fine,
That
or
was
is it
sarcasm.
good? Because it's probably neither, to be perfectly honest with you. Okay,
The lesser
so
2 horribles?
or I mean, just vote for Cthulhu. Why vote for the lesser of 2 evils?
Right.
At any rate, I say that every presidential election, and it still remains funny.
Go big or go insane.
So you were standing outside the barrow that you had gone in. You were standing with Loth, who is the resistance member, who's a Cadoran that you guys had befriended. Loth is short for something. I just can't remember what the full name is. But she's a monkey type, a monk type. I can't say monkey because there's simian people in D&D. But yeah, so you're standing out there with her. What do you do?
Try desperately to remember what I was supposed to do.
You've
We're
received the
supposed to
MacGuffin.
take it back to Duray.
Your
I
job is
got
to
that.
take it back to Duray.
I can handle that.
So the barrow itself is about a day's journey away from the encampment. Day's journey to the south. It is gently. It's like late fall at this point. It is very gently snowing. Like there's not snow on the ground as yet, but it is currently snowing, and the ground. Those of us Midwesterners that understand this, the ground is not yet frozen enough for it to really take. But if it continues snowing for too much longer, it probably will start to accumulate. You are standing outside the barrow. There are trees all about you. You do know that you need to take this item back to Duray. You do not know anything about this item at this point, other than it is a very fancy, very old-fashioned looking longsword, given to you by a green-haired wood elf. A dead green-haired wood elf.
Ooh.
What do you do?
Oh, it's a spirit. Yeah.
Lyle sniffs air and starts grumbling. Sort of muttering under their breath. Let's head back. The sooner we get out of this, the happier I'll be.
No objections here.
Yeah. Seems the next step.
I swear to all the gods, if anybody makes a wet dog joke, I will murder you.
Why would we make a wet dog joke?
Exactly.
Can you guys hear me again?
I wasn't
There's supposed to
really
be
ever tempted.
something funny about a wet dog.
Never mind. It's fine.
Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me now?
Lyle takes off. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. My microphone decided it was done.
Oh.
Rude.
The cord fell out. I'm not
Uh-huh.
exactly sure why, because it seems to be pretty snug, but yeah, the cord fell out. Okay, cool. So you sniff the air, you make a comment about the things, snarkily talking about wet dogs. I did hear everything you said.
Nobody gets me.
And you start heading back towards the camp. Loth does agree that dog jokes would be in quite poor taste, all things considered.
Knew I liked her.
Adding it to the list.
Like we don't roll that way. We could. Do you need a wet dog joke? Does that? I know you said no, but was that like a reverse psychology thing?
No. I don't reverse psychology.
I didn't think so, but you know, I've only been traveling with you for a little time. You know, there could be more that I don't understand.
I actually understand this a little bit more now, as far as it being in poor taste, because Lyle possesses things by licking it. So if it's in poor taste, you do not want to possess it or have it. Hence.
Correct.
Fair.
I think Loth just shoots a look at Lyle at this point and goes, "There's a weird sort of logic there."
Which is why I'm adding it to Chapel's euphemisms. All right.
Lyle winks at Loth.
All right, you make your way back to. Don't do it. It's not Critical Role or Exandria. You make your way back to. Don't do it.
No, what? What am I doing?
Nothing.
Don't.
confused.
I promise I will tell you
Poke the
later.
bear. Don't poke the bear.
I will tell you later.
How later?
Anyway,
Like
after the
On
game.
break.
Or during break. You guys make your way back to. I swear to God, Brian, we're never gonna get anywhere.
You just gotta keep going, babe.
Y'all traveled directly towards the camp. Fuck you all.
Just put your hand over the screen in front of Chapel's picture there, so you can't see him doing
So you all make
whatever
your way
this is
back
that he's doing that you won't tell me what it is.
I can't tell what he's doing. He's just being a person. As far as I can tell, he was just being Brian, sitting there.
Oh my god,
watching
it'll
game.
take less time to explain it now.
So
It'll
in
still be for
Critical
this
Role, I'm going to
nonsense.
explain it now. So in Critical Role, whenever somebody says, the DM particularly, Matt's vernacular is very much, you make your way to the blah, 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 blah. He says it a lot. And so at some point during, I think, late campaign 1 or early campaign 2.
No, it was in campaign 1.
Somebody started singing Vanessa Carlton's Making My Way Downtown. So they go, so anytime he says "making my way," somebody in the cast
making a way.
Every time,
usually multiple people.
Yeah.
Yes, and that has
this
carried
seems logical.
over into Phoenix's off-stream game that takes place in Exandria. I have promised them that every time they say "making their way," I at least would sing the song.
Well, and as a little addendum to that, it's been such a thing now with their group that when the second season of Legend of Vox Machina came out, one of the songs was their rendition of Making Their Way or whatever.
1,000 Miles, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now I have to go upstairs and listen to that song after we're done game.
Yeah, I'm like, I need the song.
Sorry.
I need the song.
So it's a thing. It's in the D&D zeitgeist.
It's very much a niche critter thing, but it is a thing. So
you. Now we understand.
Guys make your way back to the encampment. You takes the balance of the day. You draw close as the snow continues. It does start to accumulate after a while. It's not hard going though. Like it's accumulating, but you're talking like an inch of snow. Like it's not a slog. It is uncomfortable for those of you who are not used to walking in cold weather, but those of you that do and have and whatnot are okay. Not wonderful, but okay. And you arrive back at the encampment. You see the encampment, which had been kind of a series of semi-permanent structures, has sort of shifted gears a little bit from like an outdoors sort of late fall sort of thing to it's getting to be winter, so things are starting to like today they're starting to kind of pack things up and get things kind of in a position where it can snow and they're not going to be totally fucked. You approach and you see Duray is kind of standing. Melisandus, you note that he is standing kind of on the dais, the sort of tiered dais that you had been studying, barefoot in the snow, clad in his weird sort of like scally cap with weird mismatched armor, red mutton chops, chatting with somebody. You assume one of the other members of the resistance, but you see Loth as you guys approach. She kind of glances at you. She's like, "I'll go let him know that we're back." So she jogs up to him. What do you do in this moment?
I mean, if I'm back at the ruins, I go and study them some more, because this is all future knowledge for Melisandus. He was from the first age, so all of this stuff that has happened has not yet for him. He has no idea. So any opportunity that he can get to learn more about these other eras that he's going to,
okay.
Yeah, 100%. He's taking advantage of that.
So here's what I'm going to have you do in this particular instance. I'm going to have you go ahead and make an investigation check. I know I've made you make a series of them before and I gave you some information, but at this point, this is for something a little bit different. So go ahead and make an investigation check.
All right, I'm decent at investigation. 18.
I'd probably go with him, I guess, because I got nothing. He is much more of the intellectual pursuits as opposed to Lyle. Um, and so I think Chapel would find some camaraderie with that. Can I aid Melisandus?
Sure. Melisandus, go ahead and roll a second time. Take the better of the two.
Okie dokie. Second one was only an 11, so I'm going to stick with that 18.
Stick with the 18 is a good plan. Okay. So as you start studying, you kind of start once again from the bottom. You skip your own tier because no, you probably don't actually because there's shit that would have happened after you departed. Because it wasn't like you were right at the end of the epic. Like you kind of disappeared from like mid epic.
Well, you would also be using that as kind of a baseline, like looking through the parts that he has already lived through or like came before him. Like, how accurate is this? I know this is like the oldest epic, so it's the most removed from present time when this was made, but like, did they get details right? How symbolic is the stuff on it? So yeah, he's absolutely investigating that one, probably first.
Okay, so when dealing in, here's how we're going to handle this. For any of you, you can make a history check about your own epic without any kind of penalty, unless there's another reason why there would be a disadvantage or something like that. If you are trained in history, like if you're a proficient in history, you get advantage when rolling a history check based on your own epic. Melisandus, as you are actively studying some of the other epics, we'll say that in this sort of study session, which is not going to be just the 5 minutes that you're here, but will be a little bit of time. You're going to get interrupted, but we'll say that going forward, you will have advantage on rolls for history involving the second epic as well.
Awesome.
So make a note of that on your character sheet. The rest of you, are you guys doing anything while you're waiting for Duray's attentions?
Do we think this is going to take a long time to get attention? Or are we just like
He's
waiting
crazy
5
Duray.
minutes?
Who
Or is
fucking
this
knows? You don't know.
Because like if this is like a 5-minute wait, then just wait and can maybe get out of the snow. If it's going to be like a half hour, I'm going to go grab a bite to eat real quick and then
You get the
reconnect
impression
with
that this could be a bit because it looks like Duray is in kind of the middle of it.
Okay, then I probably go.
The guy's first name is Crazy, so I don't think sticking to a schedule is going to be
Yeah, I don't think
That's
it's
fair.
metagaming to say that maybe he's not the most reliable and like metered individual. So,
Okay. So yeah, just like maybe go grab some food and dry socks.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I follow
Yeah,
Anissa.
so you kind of head off towards you probably head off to where you were staying to grab some dry socks, and then you head over to the mess tent. Lyle?
I follow Anissa as she's going to find dry socks, and I'm just like, hey, no particular reason. Can I see that sword?
I suppose.
I love it when people open the conversation with no particular reason. Can I have a thing?
I'm just gonna
not
lay it out there
suspicious
that
at all.
feels like there's a reason. Just
Nah.
yeah, really?
Yes.
Do you
Yeah.
give Lyle the sword?
I let Lyle, yeah.
Okay.
I
Look at it.
I'm not not letting them keep it. I'm still gonna be the one storing it, but yeah, they can look at it. That seems odd if I wouldn't let them do that.
Okay. You take the sword. It's length and blade wise, it's a pretty standard looking long sword. I mean, it's a standard long sword in terms of like mechanics and such. The blade itself has sort of that like Lord of the Rings leaf blade style blade, so it kind of like curves out and then into a point. The blade is razor sharp, despite being potentially very old. And the crossbar,
The guard. The
Bill?
guard. Yeah, there's echo.
Oh, that was weird.
Still there. Oh.
Oh no.
Well, that was amusing.
I think the cord fell out of his mic again. Because that's what happened the last time there was an echo. That was what happened.
That was a really
That's
funny
my guess.
echo.
Nate?
Yes.
We can hear you. We can still hear the echo.
Yeah. Cats.
Echo.
No echo.
Yeah, I don't hear an echo either.
I was
Doesn't
waiting
seem
to
that the
see
echo
if
is
we were
gone.
I was waiting to see if we were going to say it at the same time again, Jess. Definitely no echo.
That sucks.
Sucks.
Hey, do you
Right.
want to just keep track of how many times you and I say the same thing at the same time today?
Kind of, yeah, that's 3.
And counting.
Yep.
They didn't want to ruin. They didn't want to ruin its natural beauty by messing with it.
Does it? I mean, I'm assuming it seems magic-y. Is there? I mean, so here's my thinking. Like, both of my short swords are magic weapons. So I, with working with blades the way that I do, with my background, like, I am very used to weapons, both magical and non-magical. Like, there's like that certain something different about them. So
Something.
no. That's in fact the opposite of what I'm saying.
She's saying they have a. They're saying they have a special something.
Oh, special something to them. That's the same. That's the same roll. That was almost a nat 20, but it's 11. It's an 11 instead. That would have been really
Almost awesome.
fun. That was almost awesome. Yep. That's fair. You don't know. They could be totally not dead. They could be undead.
That's true.
So It's not.
It could be that other thing. No,
Yeah,
no,
see?
no. The good undead. That I had a character that was. Yes, they're death. It could be a deathless.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
The
what?
Lich Blacksmith of Narwhal?
Definitely what he said. Yeah. Okay, so I'm assuming that it's not from the Lich Blacksmith of Narwhal. Although that would be cool. I lick the stone on the pommel.
Why do you lick everything?
It's geology. You actually do lick rocks.
Oh,
Sometimes.
Side note: Jess knows this because that was my minor. I licked a lot of rocks, but Anissa doesn't. So,
I guess
But
the
so-
sword is Lyle's now.
There's a great posting
Definitely
out there somewhere, a collection of the different sciences and which ones are okay to lick.
I love that thing. I've seen it.
Definitely don't. Definitely don't. You know, chemistry would be a bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like I am proficient in nature and in survival. So like, is it any special kind of?
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
say, you don't lick agates to find out anything. It's slate and shale. They look the same, but they taste different. They have a different texture when you lick them.
I know. It's 14. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good.
Palm sweat.
It's the pommel. It's the pommel, not the leather on the hilt. I hope the stone
It's from
doesn't taste
leaning,
like
though. You know. No. Okay.
gross. Yeah. Okay, well, I licked it. It's mine now, and I hand it back to Anissa.
Anissa seriously debates wiping the pommel,
It doesn't matter.
but like doesn't bother. Like it's. Oh, it's not about changing ownership. It's just because your slobber's on it now.
Well, it's not like I drooled a big loogie on the end of it. I just licked it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Why does my family not lock the door? Seriously. Yeah. Neither of my children nor my wife lock the bloody door. That's true. Like, it's pretty bloody unlikely anyone's going to come up here and mess with us because you have to
Yeah.
lock. But it doesn't mean somebody won't. Main road, though. Oh, shit. Where's that? Oh, I went too far. Oh, shit. Yes.
Yeah, it's mine now, but yeah, you can see it.
It's not yours.
I licked it.
No, that's. I hand him the sword. Oh, hey, Lyle.
That's the part that I licked.
That's the part that is yours.
I get up with my bowl of stew and I follow him.
What you're saying is he stole your share.
He did.
Wow.
How could this possibly go wrong?
Yeah, he just took my rock. That's my rock.
I look at the absent pommelstone spot. Mm-hmm. Now that the agate isn't there, does it look like maybe the pommel had been formed for a different stone and the agate had just been shoved in there? Mm-hmm. Not. Not a lake smoothed, washed stone. Yeah. Huh. So am I just by myself now? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh. I thought he was south.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Yes, he's still alive and is in the south with another rebel cell. Okay. I just read it today to remember. Oh. Thank you. How far a ride is the encampment to the south? Say again? Mm. Okay. Okay. Anissa's just kind of now saying okay and kind of staring at the table, like just beyond her stew and like tapping her spoon. Kind of like nervous ticky-ish. It's like, okay. Okay. Thank you. Uh-huh. Thank you. So, Dre, stone, not sword? Oh yeah. Do we know why? Uh-huh. Oh, okay. Well, guess that keeps us on our toes. There. And he also does the nod thing. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I follow him with purpose. I march right in like I totally knew he was expecting me. Like we arranged it. Yeah, motherfucker. Rude. I open the door. I go back out the door. That's fine. I manifest an echo and then use it to teleport. I mean, like, I'm trying to catch up with him, essentially. So, like, uh, I definitely, like, I can only manifest it within 15 feet of me. Um, and then, but then I can, yeah, switch spots. So, like, and then I can move it, and then I can teleport again. So I'm just gonna play hopscotch until I catch up, because it'll let me catch up faster. I smile. I gesture to the rock. What is it? Why do you need it? I like that. I would like to be part of that. Please and thank you. Also, I licked it and it's mine, so I should be there. It is. Maybe not in this time, but it is in mine. I know, but I want to be there when you're using it. Well, I'll just hold it for you. I'm not going to use it. I don't use magic stuff. Well, you're not telling me what it does, so I'm not gonna use it. So I wouldn't use it because I don't know what it does, and I'm not the magic person. The only magic I know how to do is because it's mine. I licked it. That definitely is how that works. I don't turn blue.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm. Lyle's just watching him. Mm-hmm. I wait. I stare him down as he walks away. Cool, I duck inside the tent. Yeah. I look for my stone. Are any of them unlocked? Yeah. I try to unlock it. All of them. Do they look magical? Like the locks, do they look magical? Why are you gonna be like that? What? Because he won't let me have it, so now I have to have it. Because it's rude. 18. Cool. I will grudgingly let the rock go because now I'm more upset by the disarray that is in this area, and I start organizing and making it make sense because this is some serious bullshit. How do they find fucking anything here?
Right. Melisandus is making as accurate and complete a record as he can of the kind of ruins in that timeline. Like, so he's making sketches and like rubbings and is making sure to document in something that he can bring with him to all of their future epochs and travels, and just getting this complete record as best he can.
Yeah. Plus, I think Chapel, in addition to the whole having an intellectual conversation kind of thing, I I mean, understandably, with this current age and the elves being dicks, and thus the animosity towards elven type people, Chapel and Vigil are also kind of there to ward off anybody that would want to do anything untoward towards Melisandus as well. But yes, that helping.
No, Melisandus is basically doing this until he is satisfied that the records are complete and accurate and the drawings are actually what's there and he hasn't made any errors or mistakes. And so however long that takes, like if he does that for 6 days, that's what he does for 6 days. If it takes the full 10 days and he's still not done, that's what he's doing the full 10 days. And history, right? Investigation. Okay. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Um, I imagine, I mean, from Chapel's perspective, he's a kind of the builder and architect kind of thing. So I imagine looking at these ruins, looking at any other structures that were built upon here by whoever, he is definitely going to kind of be perusing the ruins as in more terms of learning kind of the architectural styles and different and kind of noting differences. And I think that's where his or where their focus would kind of lie is seeing how things have changed. What's changed, what's sort of stayed the same, what's more decorative versus whatever.
Yes. No. I was trying to think of that. I would probably spend more time with Loth if she is willing to hang out, I guess. Hmm. Yeah. I think, yeah, and Lyle would very much be interested in that. I think their priority would be like, because Loth essentially talked them into like getting to know more of the Cadorans, and they're still kind of about it, but like, okay, we're gonna do the thing. We're doing the thing. So getting to know some of the other Cadorans that are in the camp, but largely just kind of like they're used to fighting. They're used to fighting on their own. And so trying to learn more of a like group style, like learning more about this group and about how they fight and about their tactics and what's working for them and what's not working for them. And does Lyle have any input potentially? Like they're a good fighter. What can they learn from, the tactics that are being used by the apostasy? Just kind of all that. Yeah. Uh, okay. I was hoping you were going to give me advantage on something.
Probably try to continue piecing together not necessarily her life specifically, because that would be too hard to like get things from, just learning more of this time and talking with people like, specifically trying to find out more about the time she was here in Saul's Rest. Again, not necessarily specifically about her, but trying to like recreate some of the memories she's lost of like what was happening at that time. What were people doing? What was the atmosphere in the city like who was in charge? What were things doing? What could I have possibly known about what was happening outside of Saul's Rest specifically? And just because she knows she lost pretty much everything other than some feelings and some ideas, but it's like it was all gone when she was resurrected out of Saul's Rest. So just it's the one time in the right time to maybe piece some memories together. Wait, investigation.
Melisandre got in order 25, 26, 24, 25. Excellent. Excellent. Right. Awesome.
In rolling for investigation with advantage, I got a 25. Right. Sure. Ah. Okay. Okay. Probably it. Okay. If I if I can, I would like to sometime during that 10 days or whatever ask, I guess, Loth or I guess if Duray is available, unless we already had it in the notes and I just missed it, but I'll ask them, approach them and basically, do you have a moment? Sure. This location, do you know much about its history? Do you know anyone here who might? Thank you. And then I'll leave him be to go do his thing because. Quick question for you. I know when we started with our session 0, I was in Saul's Rest in the Second Age. I don't know if I caught the name of the elder, did I? Okay. Fair enough. Well, and I remember that too, but I remember at the initial outset, Hale and I were fighting off some undead to try to give the elder and other people a chance, or the elder a chance to get people snuck out of the town or whatever. I just forget if we got the elder's name or not. Okay. 10. Okay. I mean, it's not out of the realm. Some pompous humans decide to give their name to their offspring. Okay. So probably around the end of the 10 days or so, I would like to sit down with Melisandus and have a brief discussion.
My persuasion was a 14 and my history was an 11. Shocking. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Excuse you.
Sorry, kid. Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do they say his name? Okay, so Lyle's from that epic. Lyle knows Wolf, I believe. I don't. Okay, I thought we had had that conversation, but that's fine. Right, and Godfall hasn't happened yet. No, but in Lyle's time frame. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Um, do all of the Cadorans that Lyle runs into have surnames? Well, Loth does. Okay. Interesting. At the by the monastery. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Seems oddly specific.
Yeah. Well, can't win them all. That would be it for. No, that would be it for Lyle.
You don't pick your nicknames pick you. More or less. Nope.
I have no idea why I did that. Yeah, I just switched mics. It's no longer my headset. I'm using the area mic. It's kind of quirky sometimes. I think what I did is I unengaged. It doesn't like Zoom, and I unengaged the mic, which is fun. It's what's supposed to be is like I can mute it by flipping it up and unmute it when it comes down, but it's not engaging. But I hear you through here, and I have no other speakers, so obviously they're working. It's persnickety. It's working. Yeah, I'm going to after my turn, I'm going to fuss with this and try to, because the camera mic is fine, but I like. So I got my wisdom saving throw was a 23. My investigation was, yeah, the next one isn't as good. My next one was a 13 for my investigation. Oh yeah, not awful, just could have been better. Well, then I want all the stories. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like I would. Yeah. Yeah. Emotional roller coaster. I don't think specifically. She probably does a lot of like self-thinking time. Like there's like experiencing it and that because yeah, this is the first time that of the multitude of times she keeps dying and getting brought back somewhere that she's actually brought back to a space that she once lived. And it's a lot.
Melisandus, do you have a moment?
I suppose I do. What may I help?
I've gathered some information which may have some impact on your studies as well.
Oh?
Well,
What kind of information?
in asking around and exploring the architecture for this location, well, to put it quite frankly, this location has a significant importance as older styles of architecture. Well, this place, these ruins used to be a city of some sort, but more importantly, the importance of such a thing is that they kept kind of building on top of themselves in the different iterations of it. Your dais is a kind of a representation of that to some extent, maybe someone documenting it at some point in time. But for what that's worth, I figured I would share that there are perhaps part of us being here is because maybe this place is maybe a locus or something of some sorts. Judging that it's been civilizations have been built here epic over epic. I just thought that would be important to your studies.
I suppose there could indeed be some truth to that. One location in space that has harbored civilization through such a vast quantity of time, especially with such an rich and detailed history recorded here, could certainly be a very important place, time-wise. Hadn't
There,
considered it from that perspective, but I'll have to reevaluate my theorems and see where it may fit in.
apparently, there is someone that may have a bit more knowledge about it, an elder in the town of Saul's Rest.
I see. How far away is this Saul's Rest?
Duray said it was southwest of here. Perhaps a day or two of travel, maybe. I don't know.
Near as you can figure, that sounds right.
Which, if it is to the southwest, I mean, that would put us in the obviously the northeast region of Solinel, as best I can tell. Perhaps closer to the Winterhold side, maybe, but I'm not 100% certain. I'd have to find some current maps to discern location, and admittedly, I don't know how much the continent has changed since my time, or for that matter, yours.
Very true, I imagine. My geographical sense would be far less useful than yours in this particular instance.
Well, I mean, geologically speaking, several thousand years is a short period of time, but in terms of how, I guess, the different species have changed it, who knows?
Species, countries, environments, biomes. Any number of things that could have changed with even minor geological shifts.
True. At any rate, I just wanted to share that information with you, as I think it may be pertinent to your studies, but I may want us to keep an eye open should we discover something.
Indeed, we shall have to plan an expedition to this Saul's Rest place.
And with that, I think we're drawing to the end of that 10 days. I need to both pee and re-up my caffeine intake. So
caffeine.
I think we should take a quick break.
Before we take a very quick break.
Yeah.
What trick is it safe to command a dry dog to perform, but not a wet dog?
Shake.
Ah, you got it.
Why? Why?
We're so good about that.
Well, and on that note, thank you, everybody. We'll be back in 10 minutes. 10 minutes? Sound good?
10
That's
minutes.
good.
Cool. We'll be back in 10. See you soon.
just it's too bitter.
We
fair.
did, for a short time, I did the Wandering Bear. It's
I liked Wandering Bear.
It's a cold brew subscription. So they send it every month or every 3 months or whatever.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
It was good coffee. It was really good coffee. Not sponsored,
We're gonna start
y'all.
making. We're gonna start making our own cold brew. We have a thingy, and we're gonna get Hannah's parents' grinder because they don't use it, and then because you can't use the fine ground stuff for cold brew, it brews too quickly. Then we'll have control over tastiness.
All right. Delicious. I went upstairs. I thought I had made a pot of coffee this morning. I did not.
Oh no.
So I am definitely drinking a second sugar-free Monster. I'm sure it'll be fine. I got it. It's the sugar-free Monster juice, so it's just marginally healthier than regular Monster, and it actually doesn't taste too bad.
Mm-hmm.
So what? I don't care. No.
Oh, you know what?
I'm talking to the cat. I don't know what you're on about.
I know. The cat knows. Cat's
So
mad at you.
She's mad at me.
Yep.
It was winter too, so if anybody was going to be
I
mad at me
know.
for that, it would be winter. You have food, you have water, and I will do your litter later. Anyway, hi guys, welcome back. Those of you tuning in just now, we absolutely had some sound issues, which is why I am now wearing headphones, and this just may be how I have to do things going forward, because Jesus effing Christ. So yeah, hopefully whatever solution I came up with to let you know what was going on was sufficiently brilliant, because yeah. Anyway, welcome back. It is the end of the 10 days of downtime that you all partook in. And it is the morning of the 10th day. The weather during the course of those 10 days has kind of been off and on snow and rain, as a good old fashioned Minnesota fall tends to be. And currently it is cool. It's probably sitting around the just above freezing. The rain from the last night has kind of frosted across the foliage and the trees and the grass of the ground, and it's early morning. Lyle, you've started getting up when Loth gets up to do her sort of morning calisthenics. She's going full Orem. And when I say going, I mean she's always been kind of full Orem. She gets up, and so you've been getting up and doing those with her, and you see as you guys are kind of finishing your routine, you finished your routine and you're kind of coming back to the sort of main common area of the encampment, and you see DeRay standing in the doorway of his office home structure, and you see an individual standing with him, passing a parcel over to him. The parcel is looks like a largish box or package or basket, accompanied, wrapped up very much in wow, I can't word. Wrapped in brown paper and twine, roughly the size of what we would call a basketball. Hands it to DeRay. DeRay takes it, hands DeRay a note, and then you see the individual handing it to him turns and heads off back into the woods, and you see DeRay disappear inside his tent. And we'll say that Melisandus and Chapel, you guys probably had your conversation literally the night before. Melisandus, would you have expressed any kind of an interest in seeing some of the ruined things that Chapel discovered, now that you kind of know what's there?
Yeah, absolutely. I would take a look.
Okay. So we'll say that morning is when you guys kind of had that plan to go out and take a look at some of that stuff. And Anissa, you're a disciplined paladin, so you tend to get up early as well. So you're all kind of out sort of doing your morning ablutions when you see this. What do you do?
I exchange a look with Loth and just kind of like raise an eyebrow at her.
Loth just kind of shrugs, and she's like, I mean, they're couriers from all over the place. Might be from one of the other cells. I don't know.
You don't recognize him?
No, but I don't know everybody.
Do you know if he was expecting something? Anissa, we can't hear you.
Yep, can't hear you, dear. Can't hear you, Peach.
No matter how annoyed you are,
Like, I
you're
can't
cute,
hear you, but I
you're
can tell
still
you're swearing.
silent.
Not to make this sound condescending, but
didn't
you
swear.
do look cute when you're annoyed.
You do.
It's true.
I love that Brian and I got the wink and Adam got the the sticking out of the tongue. That tracks.
She is my ex-wife. It does track.
I know, exactly. Nope, still no.
Yep.
So much
Hey, there we go.
Hey!
mics.
I was going to start
fixed
rip
this.
taxing you if you didn't get it fixed.
Right. This is so many sound issues with this episode.
Fixed it.
So many sound issues.
Like, Brian, you'd heard I fixed it.
Uh-huh.
Like, during the break, I fixed it. It was all better. Okay. In-game, Anissa just kind of observes and doesn't feel she needs to do anything about this because she doesn't know the inner workings of the different encampments, and they probably receive packages sometimes from various people.
Yeah, that was just the Amazon guy. It's fine. Don't worry about
I
it.
like to say I was a guy. Now, it could be something for the war. It could be something, but we just kind of like in the middle of their shit. So I do kind of watch Lyle and Lath because Lyle seems to have kind of a friendship going with Lath, and Lath is like one of the head people here. So if Lath seems pretty much like meh, then I'm going to kind of take that as...
Yeah,
Well,
but Loth is
I
pretty
don't need to
meh
poke
about
it.
everything.
I mean, you guys.
True.
You guys
But,
can
like-
make an insight check on Loth.
Oh, fucking A.
Well, yeah, I'll do that. Where's Insight? There it is.
Who are we insight checking? Loth?
Loth.
Can I have a...
Or DeRay. I mean, either one.
Can I have advantage on my insight check? Because I know Loth. And I've worked really hard to get to know her.
Sure.
Thank you. Just advantage on one roll. 24.
Okay. And Jess, what'd you roll?
Where'd it go? 21.
Okay. You're both able to kind of just based on bot. Ow!
Hi,
Fucking
kitty.
hat. You're both able to kind of. It's gonna be there. I guess.
Yasha, be a good girl.
Damn it. You're all both able to kind of glean that like Loth is curious by this. Probably more. You both rolled pretty high. She's curious by this in a way that is probably more than is just this is normal and routine.
Wait, say that again. I was reading a setting.
She is curious in a way that seems a little above and beyond simply a mundane drop-off.
Oh, well, then maybe I feel like I need to chat with Duray for a moment.
Yeah, once I glean that from Loth, I'm going to be like, I shrug back and then head for Duray's tent.
She's fully just sitting on the back of my chair.
Yeah, she is.
She's like, I'm just gonna hang out here, Dad. That's fine. You do what you do.
Um,
I want to
Okay.
share my beautifulness with everyone.
Chapel and Melisandus, what are you guys doing?
Well, if we've made the plans to show the ruins that morning, then I imagine we probably head out to do so.
Melisandus has also probably been, well, I would say quietly, but probably not terribly quietly, making inquiries if it would be possible to bring this elder from Saul's Rest here, as that would interrupt his work less.
That's funny. That's hilarious. No, so you had this conversation literally last
Right.
night. So you haven't actually made the inquiry yet. So if you wanted to make the inquiry before you left, now would probably be the time.
There you go.
All right. I will start making those inquiries.
Well,
See if we can.
You know that Duray is a person in charge, and you know that Loth is a person in charge. Whom do you approach?
We'll start with Loth. Why not?
So Anissa and Lyle are both kind of heading towards Duray's tent. Melisandus, you are now heading towards Loth, who's kind of trailing behind Lyle. Chapel, are you kind of going with Melisandus at this point?
Yep.
All right.
Woo-woo.
You approach Loth. She kind of glances up as you approach.
Good morning. A few quick questions for you. First, are you familiar with the Elder of Saul's Rest?
Is he familiar with the Elder of Saul's Rest? That's a really good question. Come on, wake up. There we go.
Maybe.
Get out of full screen mode. My mouse just decided. It's just in tech issues all across the fucking board. It's fine.
Great.
I'm fine. Everybody's fine. How are you?
This world is on fire.
Oh shit! All right. She's like, yeah. Saul, Dragonfriend. What is this? Saul Dragonfriend, the 6th, I think.
Yes, Saul Dragonfriend. I have heard that he is also fairly knowledgeable about the history of the world and could perhaps shed some extra light on what I have missed going from my time to this time, and perhaps even shed some extra light on these ruins. How would I go about bringing him here?
Apple, did you have something you wanted to add?
Did you say Saul Dragonfriend the 6th?
Yeah, it's his family goes way back, and I don't know if it's the 6th, the 16th. There's some number at the end of it.
So it may not be the 6th.
Oh.
I honestly don't know. It may not be the 6th.
Please continue.
Okay. Getting him here, I mean, we could send him a letter or a message. Is it... I guess why? Is it critical?
Well, it would further aid us in ensuring that time itself does not unravel, so I would say yes, it is quite critical.
Okay, so here's what I understand about Saul. He is one of the leaders of the various resistance cells in Solanel. He is based out of Saul's Rest, and that's where most of his operations come from. I don't know that he's ever left. At least as far as I know, he hasn't. I mean, he must have at some point. Like, I suppose maybe he wouldn't have to, but
Well, there is a first time for everything, after all.
we can send him a letter. I mean, that would be probably your best course. I don't know the man personally. I think I know DeRay has met him in the past, so you may want to talk to him about it.
I see.
Approximately how many days of travel on foot would it take to get from here to Saul's Rest?
On foot without a mount, probably about 4. With a mount, you can probably do it in 2.5.
I look over at Melisandus. We won't find out for several days.
Yes, and sadly my domain is time, not space. Getting there is not as easy. Very well, I suppose a letter it is.
I guess go ahead and pen a letter, and I'll make sure that it gets to where it needs to go.
Thank you. And Melisandus will also go and check in with, I'm already blanking on the name again, but the one who has actually met Saul before. DeRay.
So the rest of you, did you stop when Loth stopped, or did you just keep going?
I kept going.
Nah, I kept going.
So
side note, this is working.
Yay! We're gonna jump you guys and jump over to. It's funny because like the way my Zoom is set up, it's not at all like this on the stream. The way my Zoom is set up is I'm top middle. I've got Brian and Schmoopsy on the left, and I've got Phoenix and Jess on the right. So you guys over here just had your moment. Now we're gonna go over here and have your moment.
Love it.
You guys are in a tower for me.
Gotcha. You walk over to DeRay's domicile. What do you do?
Oh, I just walk right in.
Okay.
You know, she did it. I'll follow. Or they did it. I'll follow you.
Yeah, you did. No, you did. Sorry, I'm just in the habit of correcting right away, so that wasn't a reflection on you.
I self-corrected. I kicked my own tushy.
That's good. We're learning. We can be taught.
It can be taught. It's okay. My child now has a they them, and for some reason, I keep trying to they them my wife, who's definitely a she her. No idea why. Nobody else I'm doing this to. But
Pronouns are hard. Pronouns are hard.
I will say I have to thank Phoenix for having their journey and coming out as non-binary, because it has made it so much easier for me to not misgender my own fucking child.
It does.
You're welcome.
Help. Just gonna say it does help.
So I know you didn't do it for this reason, but thank you for the practice.
Nope. You're welcome.
Yeah, your timing was helpful.
Oh my god, somebody called me a trans elder the other day, and I was like,
oh.
You shut your whore mouth.
I was dealing with some trolls yesterday.
That's so weird.
And I eventually blocked them because they were just. At some point, it just stops being fun.
Yeah.
Well, mostly when they just repeat the same thing over and over again. I'm like, at least come up with something interesting.
Yeah.
Like, really. Mm-hmm. So I blocked them, and apparently one of the other people who was engaging, like, on my side of the trolling, was posted a screenshot. And somebody was like, "Did the old guy block me?" And I'm like,
"You are kind of gray, honey."
Listen. I may be old, but I will 100% fuck your mom. Anyway,
It's a weird threat.
Is that the reply you gave them?
No, because I had blocked them.
Okay.
That's a weird
The old
threat,
guy
honey.
had, in fact, blocked him.
So, you know what? I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Anyway,
I mean, I feel sorry for the kid's mom, but I'm saying there could have been a connection there.
Oh.
she might have had fun. Anyway,
Can we just run away from this conversation and go
Yeah,
back
Yeah,
to
this
Right,
got
you
real
guys-
weird real fast.
Oh, come on,
Lyle!
milfs are a thing. What?
What? Yes, no, I'm not saying they're not. It's just like anyway. So Lyle goes in first,
I'm
which
like,
then Anissa goes,
do you want to keep
"Hey,
going? We can keep
I'm
going.
not breaking in. I'm not breaking in if Lyle goes first. I'm just following Lyle." So,
I'm
Anissa just
not
follows.
breaking anything.
You walk
Well, yeah,
in.
because it's a 10th lap.
Yeah, you walk in. This one actually has a door. You walk in and you see DeRay is putting. He'd stepped inside. I'm working on timing in my head. So you see him closing a chest, kind of that's sitting like a Foot Locker style, a large Foot Locker style chest, kind of behind his desk. You see him closing it as he turns around and sees Lyle and Anissa stepping into his room.
Yep.
Anissa would not do that. That was a very Saul moment.
That was a very Saul moment.
Sorry, pardon.
Hello. Excellent. I was just actually no. He turns around and says, "Hello. I bet you're wondering why I summoned you here today. Are your companions behind you?"
They can be. I poke my head back out of the door.
Melisandre and Chapel are now heading towards you. Completely.
Hey, come on in, guys.
Yeah.
Come on in. We have a meeting. Now that we totally knew was going to happen because DeRay. And
Okay.
Anissa goes back in. Assuming that they're going to follow.
Lyle just rolls with it and is like,
Me
so
too.
why did you summon us here today?
It's time to put that sword to use.
You mean the ball thingy?
The whole sword or just the
I mean the
rock?
sword, not the ball thingy.
Why?
Sorry, Lyle, still don't get the rock back yet.
Chapel and Melisandre step in. Good, you answered my summon. So, here's the deal. Things are accelerating, and we need to see who's with us at this point. So I have a message I need delivered, and I'm gonna send you guys to do it. I need you to take that sword, and he points at the sword that Anissa has. And I need you to offer it to the Regent of Winterhold.
This isn't an elf, is it? They don't like us.
No, the Regent is human. However, she is the regent of the provisional government put into power by the elves. I need to find out which side she's on.
So they're given just enough power to make them feel okay, but really the elves got the shit going?
That is 100% how provisional governments work, yes.
Okay. So you're sending us northwest right now?
Correct. I'm sending you to Winterhold with the sword. You're going to offer her the sword. If she keeps the sword, she's on our side. If she sends it back, she's not. It's pretty much that simple.
Expected to kill anybody, or just, okay, you don't want the sword, have a good day, and leave?
Jesus. You see him hesitate a moment. He's like, Jesus. He probably won't try to have you killed.
Why are we taking the sword to her without the stone?
As far as she's concerned, the stone has nothing to do with the sword.
Okay, why are we taking the sword to her? Like, what's the big deal about the sword?
You're taking the sword to her. If she keeps the sword, she's with us. If she doesn't keep the sword, she's not. She'll get it. It's fine.
Okay, she might get it, but we don't.
Are we presenting it saying we come from such and such?
Yeah, you got to give us more context.
Like, do we have a
my
script
friend.
for this, or are we just saying, "Hey, we got a sword. What do you think of it?"
He turns and he goes, Quinn. No, wait, Loth. Loth kind of ducks in. And he's like, can you unfuck my brain, please? And she kind of goes, catch me up? And she looks at you guys.
Sword, without the ball thing, we're supposed to take it to Winterhold and offer it to the regent, but he isn't telling us what we're. Yep.
Gotcha.
Couple more details.
It's a symbolic gesture. If you
Well,
bear
I
this,
got that.
You gonna let me finish?
It's morning. I'm grumpy. Thank you. Sorry.
She reaches into a bag and she hands you a thermos of coffee.
I'm like, well, Lyle, where's your coffee?
That's like you know me.
At any rate, it's a symbolic gesture. It's sort of an old tradition where if you are not really clear on some of these allegiances, you present them with a weapon of yours, usually of some power, and if they keep it and wield it in combat, it means they stand with you, and if they return it, then it means they stand with not you.
So we do say where we're coming from and who we represent.
Will 100% want to say, maybe not mention DeRay directly,
Yeah.
but at least the resistance.
The resistance, yeah.
Call it the apostasy. They'll know what
apostasy.
What you're talking about.
Okay. We have a gift from the apostasy kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We have a gift from the apostasy. We wish to know where you stand. And if she keeps it, she stands with us. And if she doesn't, you bring the sword back here, and then things might get a little dicey.
Okay, so just real quick.
What's her name?
Her name is Regent.
That's not a name. Title.
How do you spell that?
Lots of A's, lots of H's, A's, and D's.
You should not name somebody after a vacuum.
I find this name to be inefficient.
It is, Chapel. It is.
Regent Everdine Reichart.
Spell it.
Evradine is the first name.
Yes.
Reichart is Richart.
What do you all think the chances are of, if she rejects the sword, her sending her people after us?
Probably.
Honestly, if I know Regent Reichart, I don't know her personally. I know her reputation. She probably won't. Now, if her elven master is there, that may be a different story.
So maybe present it without the elven guy standing right in the room?
If you can help it.
And hopefully she doesn't have any slithery spies in her cabinet kind of thing?
She 100% has spies in her cabinet.
I know. It's so sad.
Provisional government.
The reality of the situation is that they know we're at war. Now, she is an honorable type, and she'll let you go. Probably she'll let you out of the castle without harm. You'll probably even be able to leave Winterhold without harm. After that...
Get on our horses and book it?
Would be my suggestion, yes.
And maybe not lead them directly back to here?
I do have a contingency plan to address just that concern.
Yay, Chapel.
Excellent.
But we can discuss that further as we travel.
We have travel time.
Indeed. Right.
And then I look over at Melisandus and give the Warforged equivalent of a wink.
The little glowing eye spark just kind of flickers out for a second and comes back on.
Pretty much.
Better than.
I don't know. I kind of like that better. Just like holding one hand like above in your eyebrow and just kind of lowering it and then raising it back up again.
Chapel, what are you doing? I'm winking.
I'm winking.
You know.
All
this is my angry face. All right.
See, and the flipping your hand down and back up is even better if Chapel actually says the word wink. As he does it, it's just
I don't
wink.
believe you.
We're gonna get Chapel an emotions board that he can point his spinner to. It's fine.
Oh,
Use the
no, even
corresponding
better.
face with the corresponding emotion.
Even better. We just need to get him 2 long bar magnets. And he can stick those above his eyes and adjust them depending on his emotion.
Yep.
I love that.
Exactly.
That's great.
Sorry, I realize we're going down a rabbit hole, but now I'm just seeing
Another rabbit hole.
now I'm just seeing a Warforged bard who has nothing but magnets with all those little poetry things that it puts together.
Oh, wow.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm done.
That was wonderful. All right. Jess, did you have something you
Anissa
needed
has
to say?
something.
Yeah, so things I want to say before we leave this the conversation space. So
Yeah, go for it.
Since Dre and Loth are both here, she'll just address them both and say, do you have an idea of when Quinn was expected back from his mission journey?
You see Duray. Loth is like, I honestly don't. And she looks over at Duray, and Duray is he looks a little like a kid with his hand caught with his hand in the cookie jar, but like grim. Yeah, about that. You see him stand and turn, and he pulls open that footlocker, and he pulls out the basket that you saw had been delivered. You see him kind of pop it open, reaches inside, and he pulls out Quinn's head.
I knew you were going to do that. That's awful. What the fuck?
This is why our plans are a little accelerated.
Do you know what happened?
He was decapitated.
Chapel? I understand that. I would like
When-
to know how, when, and where.
Quinn
My
was
apologies.
reporting to one of the cells to the south. I don't know exactly what happened, but they were fell upon by agents of the Marquis, and Quinn was killed.
Do we know if this was before or after they got to the south?
He was meeting with one of our. They were in the middle of a meeting. Quinn was in the middle of a meeting with our agent to the south, and as far as we know, Quinn was killed and the agent was captured.
Which agent was it?
I mean, I think you know.
Well, I'm liking you spelling it out for me right now, because I can't stomach what has happened there. Gesturing at the head part.
You see him put the head back in the basket.
Yeah, thank you.
The agent to the south that is Tomas Thorquake. He and Quinn were friends from a long time ago, which is why they were meeting.
May I ask a query? If they are taking prisoners, is there a central location they bring them to? Or would it be more locally organized, at least from what you and your resistance knows?
Well, that very much depends. Initially, the locals would probably keep him someplace local. But the seat of power for the elves is Winterhold. So if they recognize him as a potentially higher ranking member of the resistance, he might be transferred there.
Do you know why Tomas was captured, but Quinn was killed, beheaded, and his head was sent to you as a gift? Warning? How did you
His
end
head
up with
was
the
not
head?
sent. His head was not sent to me as any kind of a gift. It was definitely left as a warning to others. It was one of our people that collected it and brought it to me. As far as why he was captured, I couldn't tell you. Other than he was a resistance member and they maybe hoped to get some information out of him. I don't know. I don't know if they have any information other than that. Yasha says,
Yeah.
"Bye."
Yeah, Ayasha.
Well, that sucks.
You have my word that when I find out where he's being held, I will tell you.
How long is it from, how long of a trip would it be from the south where they were to Winterhold?
Couple of weeks. But again, it depends on how important an asset they think he would be. The Marquis is a potent spellcaster and may have faster means of collecting him.
Assuming they didn't just decide to off him.
Well, we know he was captured, we know that much. And so as of about 4 days ago, we know he was alive. After that, I couldn't tell you.
If
And
they were
it,
making the way by conventional means, assuming the fastest mode of regular travel being a horse, they would still be.
Excuse me.
I mean, if it only happened 4 days ago, they might be relatively close to us in terms of time frame of the journey, assuming regular means of travel.
Correct. I would anticipate that if they left right away, and again, we have no way of knowing if they even would do that, but if they left right away, they would probably be maybe just south of Saul's Rest by about now.
That being said, if they were using slower, more secure means of travel, because I know I wouldn't necessarily want a prisoner tied up on a horse. If they were to, say, throw him in a wagon, then it'd be a bit slower.
The reality of the situation is we simply do not know where he is. I just learned this information now. So, to that end, you do this for me, and he gestures to the sword. And when you get back, I will have the information that you need to find him. At least I will make the attempt to get that information.
So we are traveling to where he potentially is, and then coming back here to get information from you to find out if he's there.
I find out that he's actually there, or at the very least heading there, I will let you know before you head back. But a lot of timing has to work out before that's going to work.
Were you going to say anything if I hadn't asked?
I think you know the answer to that.
Absolutely not.
Why are you keeping information from us? Particularly from her on this.
He sits back.
Have we done something to give you any indication that we're anything less than trustworthy? We've done everything you've asked us to do. Despite the lack of information.
And
Emotions.
it seems
Good.
And it seems quite clear from what I've gathered that my time here which, while I don't remember it very well, involved me being quite influential in Saul's Rest and knowing Saul Dragon, whatever the third or sixth or whatever the fifth. Anissa would say it correctly. I don't remember what it is. Six. And knowing him, who, as I understand, is also one of your resistance leaders, and then also working extensively and being extensively involved with Quinn and Tomas. So why?
Was not sure how to proceed. Again, I only found this information out maybe 5 minutes before you did. But I had hoped to give you some clear direction when I presented you with the information, as opposed to the I don't know more than you do right now. Maybe that wasn't the way to go, and for that I do apologize. But that was my way of thinking.
You might find in the future with allies that we don't know but we're looking into it is better than silence.
It's quite akin to the lying by omission.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I
said
get,
akin.
I get it. I get it.
And in the future, I will act accordingly. I sincerely apologize. And I hope you understand at least where I was coming from with that.
To a point. But it's only because I can only. To a point. You expect us to head out with the sword today, tomorrow, when?
Given the situation, I'd say sooner is better.
Do you have magical means to contact us so that we can get information from you on the road?
Yes. And he pulls open a drawer, he reaches in, and he just sort of tosses a baseball-sized stone in your direction.
Catch said stone, hopefully looking very smooth.
I'm not going to make you roll for it. You catch it. It's like, that is a way to contact me. That is a way for me to contact you. Bearing in mind it's once a day, and you only get 25 words, give or take.
Sending stone?
It is a sending stone. Yep, it is one half of a sending stone.
How do you spell Duray's name?
Well, crazy, and then D-A-R-A-Y.
A-R-A-Y. Fine, I'll put the crazy in.
It is his legal name, as far as anybody knows.
Well, since I unfucked your storage area, it should be pretty easy for us to gear up and mount up.
It is early in the day, as previously discussed.
I don't suppose you have any spell books with spells that may be useful in this particular endeavor that I may potentially copy?
Oh.
He looks over at Loth, and Loth is like, we've got a few spell books here and there from like fallen spellcasters and whatnot, both on our side and theirs. I'll let you look through it if you want.
Thank you. I'll absolutely peruse them. I will also need someone to work on bringing Saul Dragon friends here for when we return.
Okay, what?
I have
That's your thing.
heard that he is also very knowledgeable about the history and potentially the ruins here. And the information he may be able to provide may be invaluable in our overall mission.
Loth looks over. He's like, I said to write him a letter and we'd get it to him. Right. Write a letter. I'll send it to him.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions at all? I have to deal with a head.
I am assuming since your usual second in command is dead, that Loth will not be accompanying us.
Nope. I'm gonna need her here.
Got anybody else for us?
I mean, in terms of a guide? You're all pretty
Or if
capable.
you have a good map.
As long as we have a map.
Map I can get you. Guide, I mean,
Map would be good.
I could get a guide, but you'd have to keep them alive, at least to the best of your ability.
Well, I was thinking more of a fighting type, but
Unfortunately, most of my experienced fighters are out on various different missions and jobs at the moment.
naturally. All right. Well, let's round shit up and get on the road then.
Yeah.
Loth, Duray hands Loth a key. You guys go gather up supplies. Loth goes to one of the cabinets at the back of the storage tent.
I watch very carefully.
She opens it with the key. You see that it is filled with a bunch of different grimoires and tomes and spellbooks and whatnot. Melisandus, do me a solid. Roll me a D100, please.
100. 47.
Okay. All of the spell books here are pretty low level. You see, none of them contain any spells that are above a second level, but the collected works here would account for just about every spell in like the PHB, below second level and below. So if there's any second, first, or cantrip spell, well, you can't do cantrip, but if there's any first or second level spell that you don't have that you want to scribe, it is available to you.
Excellent.
Stretch the back. Lyle, I will add that as you're looking in the cabinet, it appears to contain only spell books. You do not see the stone.
Hey, Loth, is that key just for that cabinet, or does the one key open all of them?
She's like, I'm pretty sure it's just for this cabinet. She goes, like, just very innocently goes over to the next one over, tries the key. Doesn't work. Yeah, looks like it's just for that one.
All right.
So yeah, any mundane like foodstuff supplies you're able to kind of stock up on. You are able to, if you wish, you are able to get horses and feed and whatnot for said steeds for the travel.
Horses.
You are, if there's any mundane weapons that you want, they have a wide variety, but they're going to be kind of your stock standard, like battle axe, sword. There's probably nothing too spectacularly special about any of them. Do you provision up?
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Cool. All right. And
Hey.
Yep.
How much time did they say roughly it was going to take to get from here to Winterhold?
I don't think they did say specifically from here to Winterhold. On foot, I think I said a week originally, so on horseback, we'll say 5 days.
Okay. I'll grab 10 days worth
Excuse
of
me.
Oh, and they do provide a pretty decent map.
Real quick, there was a set of really nice plate armor mithril from the last game's loot.
Yeah.
How really nice, and did Hale take them?
Well, the mithril, I believe, was mithril plate. What that
Yeah.
will do is you will get the benefits of wearing plate mail, but you don't have the disadvantage on stealth.
Mm.
I don't have it down that anybody claimed it.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. I will say that if you want to use it for today, you and David can hash it out when he gets back.
Because, well, it's one of those, I already carry around an extra set of fucking chainmail that I'd like to, like, sell.
Oh,
Tried to do that in Winterhold.
And I
you
have,
act-
I wear adamantine half plate. Like, I do have
Okay.
a fairly solid set. It's just,
the quartermaster here will compensate you for market value, which is half of
So-
a used for your chain if you want. So I don't know
okay.
What are you doing?
It says it's 75 in the normal cost. So
there you go. Yasha is actively attacking the microphone.
but it sticks out, and I should chew on it.
And she keeps trying to bite it and claw at it. I don't know how noisy it is for y'all, but
Question, as far as the gear, during the 10 days, could we have done a detect magic just to see if anything pinged?
absolutely.
Did anything ping?
That is a really good question. Let me take a look at.
Because depending on how flexible you are with it, we may have been able to identify something should something have pinged magic, which
Yeah.
I will say that there was the mithril plate. That doesn't ping as magic. It's just really well made.
it's made out of mithril, which makes it badass.
Yeah. I will carry that.
Okay.
So that it's like it'll be on my list. Then Hale and I can talk.
Bow that
The elven longbow.
The elven longbow that the sort of leader of the guys was carrying, the elven contingent was carrying, does ping as magical, as does the sword that Anissa is currently carrying.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
What's
At
the
some point-
math?
At some point, Malisandus will cast Identify on both of them.
The longbow is a +1 longbow. The sword, I need you to. You're casting Identify. I'm going to give you advantage on this. I need you to make a history check with advantage.
History check. Okay. 25.
Okay. Excuse me. This is. Let me just double check that I'm not telling you the wrong piece of information. This is I'm sorry, not a. This is the dancing longsword.
Oh, look, there it is. It has a name. Okay, I've added it to my stuff since I'm the one carrying it.
That's fair. I'm going to throw the entry for it in the chat, and you can look at it at your leisure. It is the only one in existence on this particular plane.
Hey, Crazy Dre, do you mind if I use this longsword on the travels there if needed, or do I have to keep it all clean and shiny?
You're not going to clean it after you use it?
Well, I'll clean it after I use it, but I mean, like,
what you do with it is your business until you present it to what's her fuck.
cool beans, because I wield a longsword normally.
Just make it clean and shiny, and you're good.
Ah, gotcha.
So yeah, I know I don't tend to drop a lot of magic items, but I just dropped the legendary, so enjoy that.
Yeah.
So, you guys provision up, you get some mounts, and you start heading out. You are fuck balls, piss, shit.
I mean, rude,
That
but
sounded really gross.
Sorry, I hit the
Dear God.
I hit the minimize button on Zoom, which fucks it up on Streamlabs.
Oh.
So me cursing was me expressing my frustration with that. It's good. We're good. Everything's fine. How are you? Okay, so you start heading towards Winterhold. Um, as I said, on horseback, it takes about 5 days. You travel, and the further north you go, the colder it gets. I kind of want to have a guy in the background with coconuts just banging them together. Um, the further north you go, the colder it gets. There's snow, which where you were has not really accumulated too much. Maybe a little bit here and there, but it usually kind of gets to a point where it melts by midday. You start getting to a point where it's just on the ground.
Yeah, we get some
Um,
winter gear.
yes, you got absolutely got some winter gear. Um, but you travel and camp and all of that, and generally are unaccosted on your trip to Winterhold. Um, you approach the walled city. Um, Tall, towering walls surround the city. You see kind of at the top of the city is Winterhold Keep, um, which is the seat of power in this area, and is currently serving as the seat of power for the provisional government that rules over all of Solonel, at least the parts that are on the surface. Uh, the Underdark and the mines and the underparts and the mountains and the Thrufells are still not under elven control, but the dwarves seem to kind of keep to their own, and the elves have, for the most part, left them be. Um, as you approach the city, you see that things are sort of packing up for winter. You passed, as you got closer to the city, you passed quite a number of fields and the like, um, and you see, but the fields are sort of like winterized and having the harvest having happened several weeks ago. Um, and yeah, you approach the main gate of the city, and you see as you're arriving, we'll say, because I said it was about 5 days. So you camped the night before, and you made the sort of the rest of the journey. Was there anything in that time frame that you guys wanted to talk about, discuss, anything like that before we jump to the next thing? I want to give you that opportunity. For example, does Chapel want to discuss his alternative means of escape if necessary?
So we're all on the same page. Anissa sends a message to Duray every single day. Just the one word, anything? Question mark.
And every day you get some variation of not yet, but it doesn't sound impatient or like he's tired of hearing from you. It's always very it's abrupt, but it's not it's abrupt but not dismissive.
And she doesn't sound snarky. She's just opening the door. AKA, I'm in a position where I could talk about stuff and not getting my ass kicked by some random asshole on the road. So if you have something to tell me,
Yep.
that would be good. That is all implied magically by just saying the word anything
I love
with a
that for you.
question mark sound.
Chapel, do you disclose how your plan for an escape, a plan B, so to speak?
Oh, the idea was to go south to Saul's Rest because we would also then be potentially meeting up with the elder if the elder decided not to go to the camp.
Gotcha.
So that was it. That was the plan B.
Sounds
Has
good.
anybody got a teleport? Except we're not that powerful yet.
It is like a 7th level spell.
Yeah, we're not that cool.
So
that's-
the technical answer is I do have an ability to short range bring someone closer to me. That
I could
is
just
a type of teleportational a spell, but it typically only is about a range of 90 feet, give or take.
So yes, provisionally.
yeah, I have Misty Step, and that's also not super helpful for
I'm a huge fan
group
of
group escape.
I am technically correct, which is the best kind of.
yes, it is the best kind of correct. You approach the city then, and you see the gate is open, and you see kind of people passing to and from. You see merchants. You see various different, just normal people living their everyday lives. There are guards, and the guards appear to be, by and large, human, um, or human or non-elf, I should say. So there's other species that are guards here, but you do not see any elven influence um, on display. Um, you see they're kind of stopping random people, but it's not like a TSA stop. It's like they're stopping random people and conversing, like neighbors, basically. Occasionally, you do see a merchant that is clearly like a halfling merchant that is clearly from like Impriso Langat, which is way deep down south. They do stop and kind of question him more formally, um, but just after a couple of questions, they wave him on and he goes in. How do you approach this?
Fly casual.
Perhaps Melisandre should take the lead.
Perhaps Melisandre should not take the lead. He's an elf.
This government is supposed to be kind of controlled ultimately by the elves.
I imagine that if we must deal directly with the true elven government, that perhaps, yes, I should take the lead. If we are to deal with the provisional government or the people of the land, I probably should not.
I also
I
kind of make sure the fancy swords, like in a scabbard and not obvious.
Sounds good. I guess my question is, given that, I imagine somewhat to this discussion may have happened prior to this as well. Um, would you make any attempt to hide your heritage, Melisandus?
No.
How obvious is Cadoran heritage?
It's not super
Okay.
obvious. Um, I mean, it's. I guess. I mean, not to get. There are some Cadorans that can very easily pass as just normal humans, and there are some Cadorans that are very obviously Cadoran.
Would it be
Go ahead.
would it be kind of like a Kalashtar where they would appear of the other race, but if you kind of know what you're looking for, it's a little more obvious?
Yes. Yes, I would say that
Okay.
that's the case. And again, there's sort of the gradients in between too. Like there's some that are like they could easily pass as human, even if you kind of knew what you're looking for, you might have a hard time identifying it.
Mhm.
Um, and there are some that are like, that's a fucking Cadoran. Of course, admittedly, there are humans that you could be like, that's a fucking Cadoran, and you'd be wrong. Like, um, it's one of those situations. So, Lyle, I would say that you are human passing. Um, to a certain extent, but again, if somebody kind of knew what they were looking for, they might be able to pin you down.
Okay.
Um,
That being said, Lyle is still gonna like kind of shrink to the inside of the group if possible.
I mean, you're all on horseback, so you just kind of guide your horse kind of mid group. Okay. Um, as you approach the gates, you see one of the guards, sort of a burly, barrel-chested man with a short beard. He's got a full head of hair, but it's like he's clearly got a bald spot that he's sort of combed over, but also kind of seems like he gave up halfway through. Um,
Sorry.
it's okay. But you see him kind of, he looks like an older guy, probably, I say older, but like middle-aged, probably in his like early 40s. Um, but he steps forward and kind of flags down your group. Um, Smile on his face. Doesn't seem to be aggressive. Doesn't like reach for a weapon or anything like that. And he says, "Hello, friends. How are you today?"
Lyle just kind of nods.
Good. Glad it's not raining at the moment or snowing in my face.
Oh, I know the weather's been real rough lately. Although I have to say, it wouldn't be as bad if it weren't for the wind.
The wind always makes it worse.
Just cuts right through that armor like nobody's business.
If they stopped the wind, it'd be quite pleasant.
Exactly. Speaking of business, what's your business in Winterhold today?
Y'all, we should have come up with that before we started talking to everybody. This is Jess.
Well, go for it. I'm up with
What would we would have come
for
to? We
5 days, so we can flash back. We flash back. You're at the fireside. What did you discuss?
So they're gonna ask why we're there, because we, as adventurers, would know this shit. Why are we there?
None of
Well,
their fucking business.
No, that's not gonna fly. That's gonna cause problems. We have to have something. Why are we traveling north?
We have an important
Perhaps.
business with the regent.
perhaps
From
our if they're still under the purview of the elves that are ruling, perhaps we could say that Malisandus has come here to inspect the holdings.
yeah. Oh, what the hell?
Make a.
Maybe we're looking for work. Seems like something that could actually be, believable. Isn't gonna do anything hella awkward.
That's true.
I guess here's kind of an out of character question. Are there many or any elves that are actually kind of part of the resistance and going, yeah, most elves are dicks, we gotta shut them down? Or are pretty much every elf part of the elf side?
You know what? You've been with Resistance for about 10 days. Yes. There are. So there are elves that are indigenous to Solanel, that have or are descended from the indigenous elves of Solanel when the occupation initially happens. Because 8,000 years is a long time, even for an elf. And so yes, there are elves that that descended from that group of elven people. Now they were definitely sort of, at least initially, ostracized and what have you. But over the course of years, largely they tend to ally themselves more with the druids, who, depending on their particular want, may or may not work with the resistance. Um, they I guess the difference is, the elves that work with the resistance are wood elves, and the elves that sort of occupy the provisional government, and Solanel are high elves. So that's kind of the big main like differential between. So it's Rivendell elves versus Lothlorien elves.
Okay. But it seems to be largely split down that kind of division.
More or less, yeah.
Okay.
So,
So yeah, actually,
keep
Lyle's
talking.
idea of
I gotta step away for a second. Keep talking.
Lyle's idea of we're here to find work is not a bad situation, whether the war is going or not. There's always tavern quests kind of thing. Like there's always something somebody needs dealt with.
Love the vote of confidence, Anissa. Thank you. Thank you.
It's more convincing as a group of obviously adventure type people. We don't look like merchants. We don't look like,
Nope.
you know, I'm here to see my Uncle Sam. And like, like
My uncles are all dead. You meant that as sorry. Yep. Where's my coffee?
Yep, here's your coffee.
Thank you.
Not literal uncle. I meant, innocent little town people.
Yeah, I get it now.
Okay, cool. I'm an orphan with no family at all.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't have an uncle either.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Hopefully that was just loud enough that they can actually hear that on stream. Because that's like how we would have done it. It would be the like
100%. Like yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, back on it. But it's probably realistic to walk up and say, we're looking for work. We travel around, see if anyone needs our skills. If not, we continue traveling on.
I'm not entirely certain how willing the townsfolk and people we harass by will be willing to believe that of myself, but for the rest of you, certainly that would be a good cover story.
Can you wear a hat?
Maybe we were
am wearing
escorting
a
you.
hat.
Maybe we were escorting you here, and now that you're here, we're looking for other work. So pay us and get out of our hair.
That is true. Our current job could be safe passage to this elf to Winterhold, and then we're looking for our next job. Because that would be reasonable. As we said, the Winterhold is the seat of power for the elven thing. Lila, you're coming up with great ideas at this fireside chat.
Thanks. It happens sometimes. Don't get used to it.
I'm amazed that so much is happening before coffee.
Well, hence the whole uncle thing.
It's
passing me by.
At night.
Doesn't matter.
No. We already did
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yes, I believe that.
They need coffee to go to bed.
It would probably be best to pose as a servant to you, Melisandus. Perhaps some sort of arcane bauble.
Well,
yeah, admittedly, you have not seen any other Warforged your entire time with the Resistance.
Did anybody ask? Has anyone else seen any Warforged? Anybody?
I mean, worst case scenario, I can try to disguise myself for a short period of time.
No, I think a wizard powerful enough to create such a complex construct would indeed be someone who would be sent as an emissary to Winterhold for various official businesses.
And we are your paid escorts. Not that kind. Not that kind. Escorting your ass from point A to point B.
Look, I'm not here to judge.
I mean, it gets lonely on the road.
Do that.
Lyle just looks at Chapel.
We support sex workers here.
The inference there was sex. That perhaps Melisandus was paying us for sex. Escort is a term for a sex worker. And well, that certainly is a
Valid.
perfectly valid, reasonable option for employment. That is not a talent that well, it's not a talent I have. I'm not judging Anissa, but
It's not something I would do.
Chapel
Fair.
just kind of processes this and is like, and just nods.
I love that Lyle gets to explain all the sex stuff to Chapel.
Right?
Yes. All the innuendos and associated things.
Oh.
Innuendo.
I
So
knew
make
someone
it-
was going to do that. I just wasn't sure who.
I have to.
So make a note in your notes somewhere that when this does get broadcast, this is a moment that needs to be clipped.
My God.
No,
Yeah.
no, I won't make that note.
Oh, Maeve.
She's got us.
Clip that for us. You got it.
Nip that bitch. Anyway,
But do we need it?
do you have an accord? Do you have a plan?
Yes, we have a plan.
We have a
So-
plan.
We
Flash
can whip
forward.
back.
Flash forward to the guard. What is your business in Winterhold today?
Our current job is escorting this gentleman to Winterhold. Then we'll see if we can find our next job.
You see him kind of glance over at Melisandus, kind of lean forward towards Anissa. What is the appropriate way to address your employer?
Honestly, he kind of just ignores everybody, so you can probably just nod with respect, and you're probably good. Unless you actually need to talk to him.
He straightens up, nods with a great deal of respect, and then says, "All right, enjoy your time.
Lyle gives him like a thumbs up.
Roughly how long do you think you'll be staying? It's not like anybody's gonna like specifically check up on you. I just wanted an idea.
Depends on how long it takes to find work. A few days,
Yeah,
maybe.
a
If
couple
there's
days
nothing
to a
here, there's
week.
nothing here, yeah.
All right. Well, carry on.
Does there tend to be work for? Does there tend to be work for, more of the adventurous sort, or is that hard to come
Big
by
city.
here?
No, not at all. Actually, it's actually quite easy. There's the main chapter of Goop Wicket is located in the center of town here. So you could go check the job boards at their headquarters.
Yeah, if we don't find something else, that's perfect.
Excellent. Do any of the kind of Lyle hates this shit. Kind of sidles up a little bit closer to the guard. Do like the higher paying jobs post there as well, or is that something we'd need to like one-on-one talk to some of the wealthier people for?
Goop Wicket tries to tailor jobs to the skill set of the people. So if you're handy and capable, which you all appear to be, you'll likely get a job that is appropriate for you. In terms of extremely high-end jobs, you'll have to talk to the aristocracy, and that can be a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, without connection.
Yeah. Anyone you'd recommend starting with for something like that?
Oh no, I apologize. I don't have any kind of information like that. You might try. There's a couple of folks at Goop Wicket that might have connections on that end, but you'll have to ingratiate yourself with them first.
Gotcha. Thank you. Appreciate it.
He nods and kind of waves you on. Have a good day. Oh, try the scones over at Legends and Lattes.
Will do.
Oh,
Thanks.
Yes,
Lattes,
please.
coffee.
Yeah, and scones. Scones.
Little nod to the book that I read that is wonderful, and if anybody hasn't read it, you should go read it now because it's amazing.
One good thing about cities.
What book?
Legends and Lattes.
Oh, I didn't realize that was the name of the book.
It's 100% a book, and it was my introduction to low stakes fantasy, and it's wholesome as fuck, and it's amazing. I highly recommend it.
I'm now going to the library.
Do so. The author, the sequel to that is coming out in November. So,
But in all seriousness, because I'm a little slow, and I can't just like zip back and rewatch what you just said. What's the name again?
Legends and Lattes.
Thank you.
No problem.
Oh, look.
Honestly, something that I remember reading through it, and there's nothing really, really like aggressively adult about it. Like I think the kids would be into it too. At least the older kid. I think the younger kid would be bored.
The younger
maybe
kid.
not. Maybe
The younger
not,
kid
actually.
blows through a lot of audiobooks and
It's
such.
true.
Oh, good lord! I'm 20th in line. It might be a bit.
Well, the funny thing is this. Sorry, again, rabbit hole. The guy. This was his NaNoWriMo. Like he's already an author, but this was one of his NaNoWriMo projects, and it took off really, really well. It's very well written. It's a lot of fun. I do recommend the audiobook. Actually, I own the audiobook, so the Sower of Chaos would have access to it.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway,
it's available there too.
So you enter the city. I do have a specific endpoint in mind, so we're going to get to that endpoint because I know we're getting to that 4-hour mark. So you proceed through the city. Is there anything that you guys want to do as you move in, or are you going to just head directly towards the keep?
I am just watching everything I can very fucking carefully. It does not take a super insightful person to realize that, like, Lyle is incredibly nervous and on edge. Much more so than you've ever seen them before.
Given that, go ahead and make a perception check. You may default to your passive if you roll lower. Chapel, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say maybe sell some of the short swords and the battle axe and the longbow. That we are the non-magic ones.
Yeah.
As far as
you keep the magic one.
I'll default to my passive of 20.
You are not being watched or followed. You are not being hailed in any way, shape, or form. For all intents and purposes, everything around you just looks like a normal city, going about day-to-day life.
It's big enough that, and they have enough people coming in and out that we really might not actually be suspicious for once when entering a place.
I will say that a lot of people are giving Chapel the like they're very interested, but nobody like approaches. Nobody like everybody is just very curious about him, but nobody seems to be like, we don't serve their kind here. Like it's not a that situation. They're just very curious about him and the like. But yeah, other than that, like nobody seems to bat an eyelash, even at Melisandre's. They definitely, because you're getting the impression because of Melisandre's sort of position in the group, at least assumed position in the group, people are giving you a wide berth. But yeah, other than that, like you feel like you could fly pretty easily under the radar here.
We're not necessarily anything special to talk about.
Yeah.
If we started doing crazy shit, then. Oh, in all seriousness, my character expects us to go to Scone's place.
Okay, so you're before you head to the keep, you're going to head over to Legends and Lattes and partake of some.
It'll give
it's
me
part
the
of flying
time to sell
casual.
some of that crap.
Hot milky bean water.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. All right.
It's part of flying casual. We got this.
Okay. While you do that, Chapel is going to sell. Do you have a list of the sundry items that you have, or do you need me to provide that for you?
We've got it in our notes here.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, go ahead and sell it for half cost. As is the standard for all of that. Um, you head to the you head to the you head to the coffee place, Legends and Lattes. You see a broad-shouldered, muscular, middle-aged, half orcish woman manning the counter, and a gloriously beautiful tiefling um, moving in and around the tables of the place, collecting. It's the sort of place where you go up and order, and then go. It's like a Starbucks. You go up, order, get your thing, and go sit down. It's not a they wait tables. So you see her, the tiefling is kind of moving about, like taking used cups and whatnot. But as you approach, like you smell just the glorious smell of baked goods and pastries, and of course the smell of the coffee and all of that stuff. And you go in, and you see the woman, the half orc woman, grin as you walk in, and it's a friendly grin, but half orcs have the porcine tusks, so it's a little fearsome at times. But she gives you a grin as you walk in, and she's just, hello, welcome to Legends and Lattes. You see a little chalkboard with just basically there's a latte, there's an iced version of a latte, there's and then there's just straight coffee and an iced version of the straight coffee. And of course,
I'm
just
going for.
a panoply of baked goods.
I go for baked goods and a warm coffee because it's cold out.
Here is.
Wow,
Yeah.
coffee.
I get an iced coffee because queer people gotta have that coffee.
Because you're gay as hell.
Because I'm gay. I'm gay as hell.
So
and I get a
Anissa's
scone.
straight, so she gets warm coffee. Is that why I like iced coffee year round?
Yeah.
Evidently, that's
It's
a
a-
queer thing. I don't.
According to TikTok,
According to TikTok,
iced
that's a queer
coffee
thing.
is a
I
queer
do-
thing.
I actually eat more ice cream in the winter than I do the summer. Like, I literally walked through a store and heard a mom say to their child that, yeah, we don't do ice cream in winter. And I'm just like, don't say anything. Not my life. Don't say anything.
Not my life, not my child. Not my life, not my child.
I'm just like, I love ice cream in the winter.
Well,
Okay,
and so
continue.
like there was a point when Phoenix was up. You know what? That's a story for another time. Anyway,
Off
so
stream.
they assemble your beverages, and they hand and wrap your pastries in paper. They actually have. She's like, well, here's the deal. We have. Do you want it for here, or do you want it to go?
I was planning here because
Here?
Chapel's going and doing his selly thing.
She nods, and yeah. So she indicates that they actually have like mugs that you can purchase, and then you can just have them. If you wanted it to go, but if you don't, then you're welcome to just, eat here. And so she packages things up. Melisandus, are you with Chapel, or do you go with Lyle and Anissa?
I'll probably go with Lyle and Anissa.
Yeah, come have coffee with us.
Sounds good. Do you partake of any of the spicy bean water?
Spicy dreams make my tum-tum happy.
Well, I think that kind of depends. I think Melisandus isn't actually going to say anything, but is just going to kind of keep looking at Anissa.
Hot or cold?
Just
Hot.
gonna keep staring at her.
Just get Mel a hot coffee.
I go get him a hot coffee, and I get him a scone with local berries.
There's some.
And I come back and I just put it in front of him.
Some elderberry scone.
Let me know if you need cream.
Great, we'll accept it. Perfect.
Let me know if you need cream and sugar shit.
Melisandus will start sipping coffee and munch nuts going.
For you. Phoenix, was there something you wanted to add?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Scotch.
There's this wonderfully just mundane moment where the three of you from vastly different time periods are sitting in a coffee shop in Winterhold, enjoying coffee. Hold on to that moment when other shit starts happening. Anyway,
I know! It's such a sweet, nice moment, and it's just gonna suck soon. I just know it.
Chapel, you managed to sell the goods to a very, very enthusiastic and curious gnomish merchant who is just like once he realizes that you can like speak, he's like, you are fascinating.
Thank you.
Anything like you? You're amazing. It all just works. Interesting. He gushes like that for a while. But yeah, you're able to sell this stuff without a problem. And you meet up with the group at Legends and Lattes.
Okay.
And you know what?
Oh,
Yeah.
there it is.
You know what? That I think this moment of wholesome calm as Chapel returns to the group as you're sitting in this cozy little coffee shop in Winterhold, snow kind of falling from the sky, people going about their lives and their business. Not oblivious to the conflict that goes on around them, but for a lot of them, this is all they know. The quartet of you, sometimes quintet, but currently quartet, sit in companionable calm. And I think we're going to call it there. I think that's a good place to call it before things get weird.
Messy.
Yep. So, my friends, thank you for joining us. I apologize for the rabbit holes. As stated at the top of the show, we haven't played together since December.
In 3
At least
months, literally.
This configuration of people hasn't played together in almost 3 months. So I apologize for the tangents, but I think it was much needed, and I think we, despite that, I think we got a lot of good stuff in. So
Yeah.
Hopefully
We
the next
did.
time we get back together, we will have Hale with us once again, and we will go from there. So thank you all for joining us. Go check out Kit's stream, Seven Tail Fox, TALE. Go check out our friend Epic Realms, Epic_Realms. Jess, do you want to plug your video gaming craziness?
I'm starting to stream.
What?
Yeah. I've only done a few. Each time I stream, I learn a little something new. Last time I learned how to save my videos so it's not just live, you can watch them afterwards. I also figured out the time before how to check and make sure my speaking voice actually is being produced, because our good friend at Epic Realms let me know that if I was talking, nobody could hear me, which was good because I was blathering on for like 15 minutes with nothing. So I learned a little bit each more. My name is K Saral. Thank you actually for Brian for helping me come up with the name, because I was trying to do something with Saral and he had like the perfect idea, and I love it. The only problem is everyone who sees me has no idea how to say it.
I was going to say you should probably spell it, otherwise no one will know how to find you.
It's true. K is like the Spanish word for what? Q-U-E. And Sural is S-U-R-Y-A-L. And then you just do that twice. K Sural. I'm playing lots of different games. I usually only stream for like an hour and a half or so because I got kids. But I've done some cooking games. I've done some sailing on Sea of Thieves. I've done a whole bunch of different things. By the time this is playing, I will hopefully have been playing through I Am Fish, because I recently got it downloaded on my computer, so I'm gonna play it.
It is pretty much what you think it is, Brian.
Okay.
I am a fish, and I am rolling through my little ball, and I try not to die. And it gets more and more dangerous as the game goes on.
I love it. We will try to remember when this goes live to put the name of Anissa's channel in the chat so you all can see it.
Honestly, what I ought to do is I ought to take all of the people who guest on our show and just put their Twitch streams just in the about section. You know what? Fuck it. By the time this airs, Jess
got that down.
and Kit's Twitch links will be in the about section for this particular stream. So if you want to go check out their stuff, I'll also throw Epics in there as well. If you want to go check out their stuff, it is there and available for you to do so. We love you all. We thank you for joining us today, and we'll be back from your perspective in 2 weeks. I have no idea how long it's going to be for us, but you guys are amazing, and we love you, and we will talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.